Beautiful souls, welcome back or welcome to The Hawk and I. My name is Lana Zelinsky. I'm a psychic medium and a spiritual teacher. And yes, it's true. Sometimes I get spirits in my head and I don't know what to do with them. But I can guarantee you at some point I am going to connect it. And my days are quite often filled with interesting moments where I've got no idea why I have something in my head. But I just trust and allow it. Now this morning I got up with a very strong spirit in my head saying to me, Breaker 19, is anybody there? And I responded, yep, spirit, I'm here. And I got no more after that. And I went on with my morning. I did have plans to head out of town just for a day trip, about an hour away from home. And as I'm driving down the highway, I hear Breaker 19, is anybody there? And I'm like, yep, spirit, I'm here. And a few more kilometers go by and I realize I need to use the washroom. I'm not going to make it to my destination. So I stop at the next en route, which is like a service center. So I pull over and in I go and I use the facilities. And as I'm coming out again with Breaker 19, is anybody there? And I'm directed to stop heading back to my vehicle. And I'm asked to turn around and go to the back entrance of the building. As I'm walking to the back entrance of the building, I suddenly realize through the glass windows and doors that I'm heading towards the parking lot where transport trucks park. And I take a big breath in and I exit and I have no idea what I'm doing. I just trust spirit and I'm kind of what felt like walking aimlessly around the trucking parking lot. I'm pulled to this white transport truck and I start walking towards it. And as I start walking towards it, the door opens and out comes a truck driver and he's heading into the en route. So I start walking towards him at a little quicker pace and I introduce myself. Hello, I'm Lana. Can I talk to you? Now, all of a sudden he gets this real worried look on his face and he later explains to me that anybody who approaches a truck driver, it could be for a few reasons, and he shared those reasons with me. But anyway, I said to him, I just need a moment of your time. I just need to talk to you for a second, and I'm not even sure why. I'm a psychic medium, and I am really pulled to you, and I need to say to you, Breaker 19, is anybody there? And he stopped dead in his tracks, and he looked at me, and he says, that's a real interesting thing that you have to say to me. And spirit started to chat a bit more. And I was able to channel birth dates and names of family members. And I suddenly had his dad standing next to me who passed away a few years ago. Dad and son had this thing whenever they called or texted each other, Breaker 19, is anybody there? It's a truck driving song and it's a thing that that's common with them, and it was part of their relationship for many years because they were both in the trucking industry. So we started walking back towards the building, and we found ourselves standing in the open area, chatting a bit more. And I still wasn't sure. Like, I felt like the conversation wasn't done. I felt like I was missing something. And then his dad showed me the inside of the truck underneath the hood. And his dad said to me, ask him when he had that truck service last. So I asked him, I said, when did you have your truck service last? And he said, it's really funny that you asked me that because my dad was a diesel mechanic. He worked on these rigs. And I still didn't feel, I still didn't feel that I had it. I still didn't feel that my purpose there had been met. So I asked Spirit for some clarity. I said, can you show me a bit more? And what I was shown was a few things. Number one, the temperature gauge. I could see the truck running very, very hot. It was like really, really hot. And I could also see that there was something else underneath the hood that wasn't right. And I wasn't clearly understanding it, but I said to him, please don't move your transport truck out of here. And he's like, well, I'm carrying a refrigerated load. I can't not, I have to go. And I'm like, no, there's something wrong. I suddenly felt this urgency to have somebody look at the truck. I just felt, it was overwhelming. I just felt this panic. Can you please listen? Can you listen to your dad? Can you listen to me? And I went into, buddy, I know too much about you. You have to trust me. And he was like, I've had this truck service. The truck's been running fine. I've been driving all day, and then I'm like shy of getting on my knees and saying, there is more to this than me meeting you in just saying how your dad loves you. He's showing me something wrong under the hood, and I'm just not comprehending exactly what it is, other than your truck is going to run really hot. So with me pushing my craziness, he says, okay. He said, when I come back from doing what I have to do, I'll look under the hood myself. I'll take a look. I'll do, they call it, I think he calls it a circle check around his truck. I'll check it out. So a part of me didn't believe him. I just had that nagging. I just needed to nag him. I just needed to chirp. His dad was still in my head. There was still something there, and I was still getting breaker 19. So I waited for him to do what he had to do there, and he comes back towards the exit, and he says to me, you're still here? And I'm like, I want to make sure you believe me. I want to make sure. So because he had a refrigerated load, I guess, like, they leave the truck running. So the truck had been running for a little bit when while he was in the rest center. So he comes out and he walks towards his truck, and I just kind of stand back out from the distance and just kind of watch. I wanted to make sure that he checked it. It was my thing. Just check it. So he gets in the truck, and I see him kind of looking around on the dash, and he comes out of the truck, and he's standing there looking at me in a bit of disbelief. He said, my truck's overheating. The temperature gauge is like max straight out. And as he's saying that, you could see steam or smoke coming out from the hood of the truck. So he gets on his cell phone. He calls a service truck, whoever they call for these big trucks, and he pops the hood and he climbs up and comes back down. And he said it looks like they forgot to connect something underneath there, and there is some damage to the rad and the parts. I don't know my part names, I'm sorry, but there is some damage underneath there. It wasn't right. And he said, when these big trucks break down when you're moving, like if you're going 100 kilometers on a highway and you blow something, it can be quite dangerous. And with what I'm hauling, it'd be very difficult to stop safely. And he said the other thing is a few kilometers up is a lot of construction. I may be at a stop for a while there. And breaker 19, is anybody there? Echoed in my head again. And I said to him, I'm really thankful that you listened, and I'm really thankful that your dad was so persistent, and be sure to always listen. Your dad is always with you, and he has been trying to help you on the road. And he said, you know what, Lana, he said, you know what, I've had so many incidences on the highway that could have gone so wrong, and I've always felt my dad in the truck with me. And I thought, oh, that's pretty awesome. That's pretty awesome. Breaker 19, is anybody there? Yes, I get spirits in my head, and I always figure it out where they always guide me. It's not necessarily even me figuring it out, but they will always guide me where the messages need to go. I do hope you enjoyed this story. This one here just was a lot of fun, and apparently when you wander around a truck stop, it means more than a few things. So I'll keep that in mind in case I'm wandering around a truck stop again to give a message. I am wishing you much love, light, blessings, and as always, a spirit guided day.